Are you looking for an easy and professional finish for the inside of your gourds? Well, look no further. Today I'm going to show you how to coat the interior of your gourd with flocking. The product that I use is Suede Tex by a company called Gourd, and it's in two parts, where it is a adhesive that you paint on, and then these fibers, you can see how fine they are, these little fibers that get, I call it puffed on with this gadget here. Just zoom out a little. So this has these holes in it, and then you would fill this part, put the pieces together, and then puff them on or spray them on. And I will show you how to do that. Okay, so this is kind of an older adhesive, so let me open it up here and see what we got. Hopefully it didn't dry up. And there's a little bit of a skin on top. Let's see if we can break that. So the skin on this, as you see, the level is pretty low. I only have like 1/8 of a can left in here, and it actually broke my popsicle stick. That's how thick the skin was on top of it. So I just kind of pulled that off and put it right here. You want to work with gloved hands. If you don't, this is pretty sticky stuff. So I'm actually just going to be pulling right off this skin. I've got a good amount on here actually. And this is my gourd that I'm going to be coating. And I'm just using a little throwaway brush. Like I said, this stuff is pretty sticky, and any brush you use, you're not going to want to use again. So you just use a cheap disposable brush and give a good liberal coating to the inside of your gourd. Now, my gourd has already been coated with a black acrylic paint, so it already has a bit of a sealer on it, and that also helps for this to not be absorbed by your gourd, because gourds are pretty, they're like sponges. So when you first coat your, if you put your first coat on, and it's not, and it's like bare, like this on the inside, it's really gonna soak up. So it's good to have a base coat of just plain acrylic paint before you use this. So I have holes drilled across the top here because I do plan on doing a pine needle rim on it. So if you're wondering why it has holes, that is why. And what I'm going to have to do later is just take an awl or a toothpick or something and just poke anything that, any of the paint that went through. I'm going to have to poke through those little holes. And I'm also going to just paint this other big gourd here. I usually try to get a couple done at a time if I'm going to be bringing this out and opening up the can. I try to have a couple of gourds to work on and get them done. I usually do this type of interior on the gourd for pieces that are a little bit more shallow cut, and like I wouldn't do this on a tall vase, but a more shallow cut gourd, especially one that is mainly a pine needle coiled one, where I know that you're going to be looking like right into the gourd, and that just makes a big difference. Try not to get that on there. It just gives it a nice, finish. If you have any jewelry boxes, a lot of times you'll find this kind of a finish inside of a jewelry box. And it does come in other colors. I'm going to be using black today. And what you want to do is match your adhesive color with the fibers that you're going to be using. So therefore, if you want to have a green, want to use green, you want to get a green adhesive and your green fibers. Okay, so what I'm doing is I have these in a shallow box, just a cardboard box, and I have it lined with some wax paper, and I do this so that I can preserve some of the overflow of the flocking material so I can use it for another project. Okay, so now I'm just going to take some of these fibers and put there. And pour them in. There we go. Looks pretty good. And this part of the job you definitely want to do outside because it is pretty messy, and it is midsummer right now and the cicadas are starting to kick in, so I apologize if they are distracting in any way. And it is a little bit windy out here, so hopefully it doesn't carry this away too much. So as you see, let me just zoom out a tiny bit here. You just puff this right on. What's nice about this type of coating is that any imperfections you had on the inside of your gourd, it covers up really, really well. So then what I'm going to do is set these to dry overnight, and then we will empty out the excess fibers tomorrow. So I'm just going to take what wasn't used on the inside here and dump it back in my bag so I can use that another day. And then clean up my can. As you saw with this can, I had this really thick skin that was on top because it's only about this full right now. But there is a way that you can prevent that, especially if your can it was only used a couple times. So if it's mostly full, maybe then to about halfway, there's a product that works really, really well to prevent those skins from forming on top of your adhesive. Okay, so the product that I wanted to show you, it's called Bloxygen, and it's just basically a little can of air. And so what you do is you put the little tube into the nozzle, like so. And this does work really, really well. This has preserved this can much, much longer than the ones I've had in the past. So even though this did have a skin on it, I think it's mostly because my level was so very low. I really only have enough here for a couple more gourds, and but it did work really, really well to preserve this can. So what you do is you get ready to put your lid on. And then you just spray the can for about 2 seconds. 1, 2, pull it out, and then make sure that your lid is on good and tight. Okay, it's the next day, and these gourds have sat and dried overnight, and anything that is going to stick to that adhesive is now well stuck. So all I'm going to do now is tap out the excess, and we'll have a look at the gourds. Now I can just gather up this that didn't stick and pour it back into my bag. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. As you can see, it does give a really nice interior finish, and on top of that, it's nice and fuzzy. So yeah, I'll leave a link in the description below so that you can go to the company's website who makes this product, and you can see what other colors they have available. And yeah, so give this a try. As you can see, it was pretty easy to do. It just needed overnight to dry. So thanks for watching, and happy gourding.